Hello.
Hello, and welcome to a very breakfast-filled episode of the G.A.P. I am your host, Matt, aka Legion Rex, eating breakfast because I'm very hungry.
Yes, we're being completely 100% professional here.
Well, being 100, I have a bowl of Cheerios, and I am here eating that shit.
I have a bowl of Cheerios, and I'm here to talk about anime.
I'm here to talk about anime like a child. With me, I have my co-host, Shane, aka the bearded one. How are you doing today, Shane?
I'm doing fine. I'm ready to eat Cheerios and talk about okay anime, I guess, is the way to describe it.
Not as bad as we were expecting.
Not as bad as some people made it out to be.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk more about it when we get to it. But we have a little bit of stuff. We have our featured anime. We have a simulcast to talk about. We have some news.
How much news do we have?
We have a lot. We have quite a bit. We have quite a bit, and of course we got our anime sales chart as usual. So Shane, I think we're pretty much ready to get going.
I think we're ready to start here.
It's pretty much. It's just us, so it's
just us. No bullshit. Other people.
It's going to be a good old. It's just gonna be me and Shane shooting the shit. You know,
like we always do.
Like we always do.
No third parties to interfere. You're just gonna get the raw, pure opinions of the two creators of this lovely show, which you are definitely watching right now.
Which you're definitely watching and not putting on in the background while you work out or whatnot.
I will predict that this episode in particular will get 1 million views.
Right now, we're calling it for the Ebiten episode 1 million views.
It's probably because of the thumbnail, because there's a fucking soon in the thumbnail, so fucking whatever.
Yeah, but whatever. So with that, let's talk about some simulcast.
Let's talk about that shit.
We're around halfway through the season at this point, and so we're pretty far in, which is a good thing. With that, I say let's talk. I don't know if any of our opinions have really changed too significantly.
Not really.
Compared to other seasons, I think this is a pretty consistent season.
Yeah, it's pretty consistent. I don't have much to talk about other than a couple of things, but most of my opinions on the shows that we've already discussed have pretty much stayed exactly the same. Everything is still good. I'm still enjoying everything I'm watching. Mm-hmm. But I have three things in particular I want to talk about that I feel are key points of interest. The first thing I want to talk about is Cells at Work, because this was on the verge of losing me. Because, like I've said before on the show, Cells at Work is not a bad show by any means. This show is better than it has any right to be. The problem with it, though, is that it's sunken itself into a formula, and I think that's to the detriment of the series as a whole, because sure, it's meant to be a very lighthearted, monster of the week type show, but I feel like with the premise that's on display here, you have so many other possibilities to make this really unique and special. And I think that they've been really... They shot themselves in the foot because they've been sticking to this one formula for the last however many weeks, 5 or 6 weeks.
5 weeks.
And it was starting to get old for me. Like, I will not say the show is bad because it's not, but because it stuck to the formula, it was starting to bore me. And in my opinion, boring is sometimes worse than just flat out bad. Because at least with a bad show, you have something to talk about. With a boring show, it's just like, whatever, you know? So, Cells at Work was on the verge of losing me. Thankfully, they brought it back with the newest episode as of this recording, episode 6. Which, I was already kind of worried about because I saw the next episode preview and I saw that we were getting backstory for Red and White Blood Cell. And I'm like, okay, I don't think this is necessary because these characters don't really warrant any significant character development. They're fucking blood cells, for Christ's sake.
But they went out of their way to give them character development anyways, and I find that very, very fascinating.
Yeah, they went out of their way to give these almost one-dimensional characters more depth by going into their backstory. And I was worried because I was like, I don't think this is necessary. I think they're just doing it for the sake of doing it. But I'll give him credit. That was easily one of the most interesting things the show has done so far. And I don't know why.
And cancer is coming now, too.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But I don't know why, in the flashback... Have you seen the newest episode, by the way?
Not in its entirety.
Okay. Well, there's a scene where a tiny red blood cell is getting chased by a virus, and then tiny white blood cell shows up, and he's like, "I'll protect you!" and then tries to stab him with a rubber knife, and then gets his ass kicked. And I'm like, this is fucking great.
Aww.
And I don't know why in that scene where he's standing in front of red blood cell, shielding her, and he's like, I don't care what happens to me, but I have to protect you. That's my job. I don't know why in that instance. Maybe it was the voice acting or whatever, but it reminded me so much of Killua for some reason.
Maybe it's the same actor.
I don't know. I don't know what about it reminded me of Killua so much. Maybe it was just the like undying loyalty that Killua shows, which White Blood Cell was showing in the scene. Maybe it was the voice acting that reminded me of it. I don't know. But the first thing I thought was like, why are you reminding me of Killua? This is weird. Stop it. But yeah,
Killua's a white blood cell. Confirmed.
Yeah. Well, have you seen him? He's pretty white.
He's pretty white. Hunter x Hunter is actually a sequel to Cells at Work.
No, Cells at Work is a prequel to Hunter x Hunter, and the whole show takes place inside Killua's body.
Yes.
Hashtag confirmed.
Hashtag it's just a theory. An anime
theory. Thanks for watching. But anyway, so yeah, they didn't have to do the whole backstory thing, and I thought it was just going to be superfluous filler, essentially, because I didn't feel it was necessary. But it got me. I'll give them credit where credit is due. It got me. And the second half of the episode just fortified the fact that they brought me back from the brink. Because we're getting cancer, boys.
We're getting cancer, dude.
We're only halfway through the show, and they're already introducing cancer. So that was a twist I wasn't expecting.
It was the big bad of the manga, so...
That was a twist I was not expecting. I was not expecting it this early. Like, by episode 6, we've introduced cancer? What?
Cancer? I fuck it. All I know is one of the things that I do know is that whenever that episode aired, I got a bunch of posts on Twitter. Everyone's like, "I now ship red blood cell and white blood cell." That's all I saw on Twitter.
How have you not from the very beginning? Like,
look, no, I have, but Twitter apparently hasn't.
Twitter, like, get your shit together. It was obvious from the first fucking scene. That's the ship.
I love them.
Yeah. So that was Cells at Work. So I'll give them credit where credit is due. They got me interested in it again. So hopefully they can keep that up. But I definitely am not dropping it at this point. So
you're halfway through at this point. I'd reckon. Yeah. I don't think there's a point in drop. When I get halfway through a show, I'm pretty much okay. I'm in here for the long haul.
Unless they drop it again and it goes back into like the boring formulaic shit, I'm probably not going to drop it at this point.
I don't think it's going to. If anything, from what I understand, like, it does what a lot of formula shows do in that, like, the first couple of episodes, like, mainly like the first half of it is super formulaic, but then the rest of the show is about using that formula in, like, new ways to, like, really, like explore character and also, like, do more interesting things. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what I have a feeling they're going to do, which I think...
Hopefully they will.
Because I don't hate formula shows. I think when formula shows done right can be really, really clever, really fun. So like that's why I'm really loving Cells at Work, because they do fun, because the way they do the formula is really smart and really well done. So.
I agree with you to an extent. Like I enjoy Cells at Work, but for whatever reason with this show in particular, the formula stuff isn't really working for me, and I don't know why. I think it's the same reason why. I can't believe I'm making this comparison. It's the same reason why I never finished the original Assassin's Creed. Because the first Assassin's Creed is the most boring, repetitive shit I've ever played in my life. You do the same 3 things over and over again, credits. That's it. And so, the formulaic shit in Cells at Work reminds me a lot of that, because it seems like they're just doing the same 3 things over and over and over again. And once you get to that point, I'm getting bored, and when I'm getting bored, I don't want to watch anymore. So thank God they shook things up, and they recaptured my interest, so hopefully they can keep it. In terms of other shows I want to talk about, I finally started watching Revue Starlight.
And it's amazing, isn't it?
Which is it's pronounced Revue Starlight, which I found out the hard way. It's not Revue Starlight, even though the spelling's weird. Anyway,
I think the sub pronounces it both ways because Japanese people can't pronounce things apparently.
Yeah, they can't. Sorry, Japanese.
Yeah. Sorry, Japanese. You can't pronounce anything. I can though.
Yeah. But yeah, I started Revue Starlight because I was waiting for the dubcast, and holy fuck! Oh my fucking god, this show!
It's so good.
This show is incredible. Oh my god! And I've only seen the first 2 episodes, and I'm like, give me more. Just inject it right into my veins, baby.
Shame. All I'm gonna say is that the most recent episode 5, episode 5 might be its best episode.
I've heard that from several people. Actually,
might be its best episode. One of the things I love about Revue Starlight is the fact that Ikuhara is like, unlike a lot of Ikuhara shows, like this is inspired, like it's one of his proteges working on it. It's a lot more light than a lot of his other work. And because of that, there's such a different tone compared to that. So I love seeing Ikuhara's like visual style put onto like a more lighthearted show. And fucking episode 5 is like genuinely one of the most like fucking joyous things I've seen in a while. I love this show. I fucking adore this show. This might be my anime of the season right now.
It's up there for me, dude.
Not even a contest. I don't think it's I don't think it's a contest. I think this is probably my anime of the season. This is not, it is an easy pick unless it drops the ball, which I really doubt it will.
Hopefully it doesn't, because there are production issues behind the scenes. So
there's a lot of production issues.
So hopefully that doesn't impact things too heavily.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to. From what I understand, the writing is done. Like, they've had this written for a while. So like,
it's just a matter of animating it.
It's just a manner of like the animated stuff going on right now. So I'm pretty sure the writing will stay consistent for all 12 episodes, which I'm very, very excited for. I'm loving this show. I'm hoping. From what I understand, this show, I have a feeling this show is also going to sell like fucking hotcakes.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely.
I think this show is going to blow up. I think, which means that we can get if you get a franchise of this, yes.
If this gets a second season, oh shit, I'm all over that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, this show is fucking incredible, and
y'all need to watch it.
I am so fucking glad that I found this, because holy god, like I love everything about this show. I love the characters, I love the visual style, the animation is freaking incredible.
The music,
oh my god, yeah. As soon as they get into the auditions and the fucking music that plays, those fucking insert tracks, oh man. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Soundtrack of the year contender, easy.
Yeah, easy, and not just the insert songs either. Like the soundtrack itself, like the orchestrations and everything.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh my god, this is just the OP is really good.
The opening is so good, and it like changes time signatures right in the middle. I'm like, ah.
Yeah, as someone who's a fan of music, like someone who's played in music in a band. I understand when a time signature changes. It's fun. It's also annoying, but it's also fun.
It's annoying if you're playing it, not if you're listening to it.
Oh, yeah, if you're playing it, it's actually ass. Because, like, you'll have to be in the middle of the song. I was like, okay, it's 4/4. Now do 2/4. Wait, what?
Wait, what? Oh, I'm sorry. Can you play 4-5 for me? Like, what? Huh?
4-5 is actually the worst.
4-5 is the worst fucking thing.
The worst time signature in the history of whoever came up with that needs to die. I hate whoever.
I'm pretty sure they are.
I'm pretty sure they are dead, and thank you because
thank you, God.
Hate the fact that that exists. It's almost as bad as fucking 6-2. Fucking 6-2 is pretty. 6-2 is pretty garbage. So like,
yeah. Anything that isn't like 3-4 or 4-4 is ass. Anyway,
8-4.
Anyway, Revue Starlight. Fucking watch this shit because I love basically everything. But what I love most is how it extremely well it balances its tones. Because it's the perfect blend of this slice-of-life drama mixed with this really intense battle series. And I just love how they blend the two together. It never feels like one outweighs the other. It always feels like they work in tandem. And I can't thank this show enough for doing that properly, because there's a lot of shows that fuck that up.
Yeah,
so I love how balanced.
Good. All of them are interesting. All of them. They're all great. Even if I can't remember a lot of their names,
even I can't. Yeah, that is a genuine problem. Is that there's not a lot that distinguishes a lot of the characters from one another, but still.
But it's only like a couple episodes in, so yeah, I'm not gonna. It's gonna be okay.
Like I remember most of their names, so
okay, I remember Banana.
Oh yeah, Banana, Juna,
Claudine, Maya, Karen.
Kitty, they call her Karen in the dub, by the way, not Karen.
Karen. I don't know. That's a Japanese thing, though. The Karen is not a... It doesn't exist in Japanese.
I want to see a Japanese person named Karen.
For one, this is not the first anime I've seen with a character named Karen.
I know, there's another show this season with a Karen in it.
That's odd to me. Does that mean Karen is like a growingly is like a popular name in Japan right now?
Like, are Japanese people naming their kids Karen? I don't know. No, but yeah, I love this show. And if you have the chance to watch it, you should, because it's worth it. It's easily, like... I wouldn't say it's, like, show of the season for me just yet. It could get there by the end of it. But right now, it's easily in my top 3.
Yes. What is the third thing you wanted to discuss?
Speaking of my top 3... This fucking show might just end up being my favorite goddamn show of the year.
Planet With?
Oh my fuck, dude. Planet fucking With.
Who's Revue Starlight? Shade discovered it for me. I discovered Planet With for Shade. Aren't you fucking happy that I did?
I'm gonna put this out there right now. On the podcast, thank you for introducing me to this shit, because oh my god, this show was made for me.
Fuck! It's so good. It's so
good. And like, I've been loving this show since it started.
Nobody is watching it.
No one's watching it, and that's a fucking crime. You should be put in jail.
It has a 6.7 on Mal right now.
That's a fucking...
The anime community should be fucking ashamed of itself.
That's a fucking disgrace. Because this show is incredible.
It's legitimately one of the best shows of the damn year.
Yeah,
and it's
like, I've been loving this show since the beginning, but goddamn if that most recent episode didn't cement that for me. Like, this show's been great up until this point, but episode 6 might very well be one of, if not my favorite individual episodes this entire year. Because holy fucking shit, this episode is crazy. It's firing on all cylinders. The animation is freaking incredible. The action on display is some of the best I've ever seen, and I'm not putting that lightly. This show,
CG animation is amazing.
This episode in particular is a fucking love letter to anyone who loves shonen battle shit. Because
shonen battle stuff,
Mecca. Like, oh my god, the fucking mech fights in this show are fucking phenomenal.
One of my favorite things about it is the sound design. Whenever something hits something,
oh shit!
Like, whenever someone hits something, it goes, and like you feel it.
You feel it. It's like a hard thud, and I feel the impact. Like, there's I think it's in episode 5. they're fighting one of the invaders, and it's just a giant snake. And the fucking snake, I can't remember if it's episode 4 or 5. It's one of them. But the snake comes down, and it opens its mouth, and it lets out this, like, ferocious roar. And I'm like, I literally had to turn my TV down because it was so fucking ear-piercing. I was like, holy God, I felt that. Like, I felt like the snake actually just attacked me. It's ridiculous. It's like, I could literally go on for like an hour about this show, but I wanted to talk about episode 6 because not only is it the best episode of the show, it might be one of the best episodes of anime this year. Like, it basically encapsulates everything that's great about the series in 22 minutes. Like, just
watch Planet Width.
Just watch Planet Width. Just do it. Just, if you haven't started watching it, start from the beginning. It's on Crunchyroll.
Because nobody is watching it.
No one's watching it, and that makes me sad.
Nobody's watching it, which means that I have because whenever I see someone, because either people don't watch it because they're like, oh, that sounds dumb, or they watch like the first 15 minutes and they're like, this is stupid.
Mm-hmm. And that makes me sad because
and I just want to go up to them and be like, don't understand. You don't understand.
You don't get it, man.
This is a great show.
Like, I don't want to spoil episode 6 for you because there's so much good shit that happens in it. Like, I'm only gonna say one thing, and it's not a spoiler.
I know it's like it feels like a season finale. Someone said it's felt like a series finale.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, we're halfway through the show, and the main plot point is resolved in this episode. So I'm very curious to see where they're going to go in the second half, because they could literally do anything with it. But there's one scene in particular that I gotta talk about, because it literally made me jump out of my seat and fucking, like, cheer, because it was so fucking rad. So there's a fight between Kuroi and Takashi, the leader of Grand Paladin. And Kuroi, like, pushes him through the mountains, and they both land on the giant spaceship, the giant sensei spaceship. So they're fighting on top of a giant cat. And Kuroi knocks Takashi out of his mech, and he's like, I'm not done yet. And then Kuroi trips. He gets thrown out of the mech, but he lands on his feet and hits the ground running, and then they just rush at each other, and Takashi's like, I can't let you beat me, and punches him in the face, but his fucking face mask, his face guard, takes the blunt of the hit, and it shatters, and he's like, you think you can beat me with that measly punch? Your justice means nothing to me! And then he takes off his fucking clog, and literally clogs him in the face with his clog, and fucking beats him. And that was the point where I was like, this is the greatest goddamn show I've ever seen. This is fucking phenomenal.
Fucking the best show of all time.
This is literally, that was literally the scene when he literally clogged him in the face with his shoe. I was like, I literally jumped out of my chair and I was like, yeah, you go, Kuroi boy, fucking beat his ass.
Fucking beat his shit in.
And that's all I'm gonna say, because you need to watch this episode for yourself and see how amazing it is. That's all I gotta say. Watch Planet Width, because no one's watching the show, and it makes me legit sad, because it's fucking incredible.
Nobody's watching it, which sucks, because like it's getting overshadowed by other stuff, and it's really a shame.
And you know what? As much as I love Banana Fish, as much as I love Revue Starlight, if Planet Width keeps up this kind of shit, it might just be my favorite show of the season. Hell, one of my favorites of the year. Because, man, I was not expecting it to get me as much as it did.
But can it beat Place Further right now? Can it beat Place Further? That is the question.
Yeah, we'll have to see about that.
Question of the year. That is the question of the year right now, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Literally, that was the first anime that aired this year, too. What a fucking way to start off, am I fucking right?
And then right after that, there was fucking Devilman. Like, holy shit. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about simulcast. I'm done. Is there anything you want to talk about?
Not really, but there is one thing I do want to mention for all the viewers here. For all those who are anxiously awaiting the beginning of the dub for Attack on Titan Season 3. It will begin, technically, for all of you in the US, it will begin on Toonami tomorrow night, as the day we're recording this, August 18th, which means that when this is up, when this goes up, the first episode will probably be aired, which means that we can all start watching some Attack on Titan, which I'm very excited to pick up back up again.
Oh yeah,
wanna know
absolutely.
Why? Because I don't think it's too hard to say that Attack on Titan might just be the fucking one of the best shonen series ever made. And I agree. That,
I wholeheartedly agree with that.
And I think that it's definitely, anyone should watch Attack on Titan because it's absolutely fucking fantastic. All right.
So so when by the time this episode goes up, it'll have started airing on Toonami, and then the first episode of the dub will be up on Funimation Now the day after that.
Which means that on the next episode of the G.A.P, we will also be discussing.
We'll be talking about Attack on Titan because I'm very excited to finally start this season.
Yeah, it's gonna be the first time you're watching Attack on Titan weekly
as it's airing. I never thought I would get to this point, Matt.
Yeah, and you'll realize that watching it weekly is actually painful.
Oh yeah,
it's fucking painful.
I do not doubt that.
Considering that watching it weekly, we are watching it binging is painful. So because like
watching the show in general is painful.
Because it makes me depressed.
Because it makes me feel things that I don't like.
It makes me very sad. But for Attack on Titan will be airing this weekend, so so make sure to definitely watch that.
Get on that, dub watchers.
All right, I think we're pretty much done with simulcast discussion.
Yeah, I think we're done.
Let's get into some news. We have quite a bit of news. A lot of it is mostly a lot of it is stuff that we can actually spend quite a bit of time on. So we'll see what happens. So Shane,
yes.
Remember when Hayao Miyazaki said that Wind Rises was going to be his last movie he ever did?
He's got another movie he's working on.
Another movie. Yeah, he has another movie he's working on.
Of course he does.
Studio Ghibli producer Tsuyo Suzuki revealed during a promotional event for his non-fiction book Minami no Kuni Kanada on Sunday that Hayao Miyazaki's upcoming Kimitachi wa Doru Ikaraka, or in English, the English name will be How Do You Live? Feature film will apparently be done in about 3 to 4 years.
Lovely.
Apparently, the Suzuki also noted that the film had been in production for 2 years and that the studio has been doing things in the film that they could not have done previously. It's going to be a technological advancement for the studio. And he himself stated last October that he would probably need. He himself said that he was probably going to need a couple more years to complete it, which is apparently an action-adventure film in the vein of Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. He derived the film's title from a 1973 Japanese book of the same name. He also added that the book is a story that has great meaning to the main character of the film. The original book centers on a man named Kopodo and his uncle, and through Kopodo's spiritual growth, it discusses how to live as human beings. Shane, how many Miyazaki films have you actually seen?
There's too many to count. I've seen My Neighbor Totoro, I've seen Spirited Away, I've seen Grave of the Fireflies, I've seen Kiki's Delivery Service.
Grave of the Fireflies is not a Miyazaki film.
Is it not?
It's not. No, it's Takahata.
Well, shit, it's still labeled under Ghibli, so.
All Ghibli is Miyazaki, am I right?
I'm one of those plebs who only considers anything Ghibli does to be Miyazaki because that's the first thing that comes to my mind.
Oh.
But anyway, I've seen quite a few.
I love Miyazaki, and I hope that and if you all haven't seen any Miyazaki film, what are you doing? What are you actually?
What have you done with the last 20 years of your life?
Doing? Like you should have seen at least one. At least see Princess Mononoke, dude.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, just at least see that one. But I'm excited to see another one. I'm pretty sure Miyazaki is going to fucking work until he dies.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's never gonna actually retire. He's just gonna keep working until he's dead, and he will literally die in the office working on his next movie, and they'll bury him under his desk.
Apparently, they actually have precautions in place because some people at Ghibli actually think Miyazaki's gonna die during the production of this film, so they actually have precautions in place just to make sure if he dies that they're gonna get it done.
We've got defibrillators and first aid kits on every floor of the building.
Yeah, they have like people on. They have a backup director on standby just in case that if Miyazaki does die during the production, that the movie will get done. Like fucking because Miyazaki is old.
Yeah, he's old as shit.
He was born in 1941, which means he's like almost 80 something. He's almost 80.
Yeah, he's like 77.
I love how he announces retirement after Wind Rises, but he also did the same after Howl's Moving Castle.
But he also did the same after
Princess Mononoke too. So it's like, will he ever retire? Probably not.
Nope.
Because I'm pretty sure what happens is he was probably retired for like a year or so. He was like, this is boring.
This is boring as shit. I'm just sitting at home doing nothing. I want
to make a movie, dude.
I want to make a goddamn masterpiece.
Another one.
Another one.
Another masterpiece, because that's all he makes is masterpieces.
Yeah, that's all he ever makes. Everything he's ever done has been fucking incredible.
Except Howl's Moving Castle.
No one can argue otherwise, and if you do, you're factually wrong.
You're factually wrong. Not subjectively wrong. Objectively wrong. You are actually a wrong person.
Yeah, you are actually wrong, and your opinion does not matter.
Yeah. So Miyazaki's new film is coming. Just wait a bit. Just gotta wait a bit. I can wait a bit.
I can wait.
We got a bunch of stuff to hide us over, but I'm gonna see it because I love Miyazaki. All right. Speaking of other things that are probably gonna happen in the next couple of years, in this case, about a year, the manga creator Nabaka Suzuki stated in an interview that his that he is planning on concluding his manga, The Seven Deadly Sins, in about a year.
Right, I heard about this.
Yeah, after 40 volumes. He's noted that the ending planned since the beginning of the manga, that has always been planned as 40 volumes, and that it's coming. So, and then he said he plans to give it an ending that is, and he has actually commented on the fact that many shonen manga, especially recently, have not had proper endings. And he has mentioned that he will make the ending as satisfying as possible for long-term fans.
Good.
He also mentions that he had plans for a possible sequel, is that it's up to mainly the editors at Kadokawa if they want to do a sequel to it. But he also mentioned that more than likely his next work will not be a sequel to Seven Deadly Sins, but a baseball manga.
Whoa. Oh,
that's a change.
Okay.
You know what? Seven Deadly Sins is fucking dope. So I want to see whatever this guy does.
Yeah, I've been meaning. I read a few chapters of the manga last year while I was on vacation in Jamaica. I read like 3 chapters of it, and it's pretty good. Like I won't argue that it is pretty good.
Yeah, you have not seen the anime.
I haven't seen the anime just because I knew that the second season was airing this year, so I was waiting. I'm waiting for Netflix to get on that, so I'm just gonna binge it basically, the whole thing.
Yeah, and it's both seasons. I'm very excited. I need to catch up. The fact that it's ending in about a year, which means that I'm pretty sure that he's doing means that is this gonna be the rare shonen manga that tells the story that the author actually wants to tell. Like the rare one where the author does what he wants to do without any like repercussions, without any like editor.
Yeah, the editor doesn't get involved, and it's like, I think you should do this. That would make it a better story. And then they just do it because you can't go against your editor, or else you'll get canned.
And then the idea turned out to be dog shit. Because that happens a lot in manga.
Like I heard I heard that the only reason that the Super movie has Broly in it is because of Toriyama's editor again. Yeah, they're like, you should put Broly in the movie, and he's like, all right, I guess.
No, Toriyama's like, put Broly in the movie, and then Toriyama's like, I don't want to, but
all right, I guess I'm doing it. Yeah, that happens a lot with long-running shonen. Is that the editors get in the way, and they're like, you should put this in, and you should do it, and then they do it, and it turns out that the editors don't always know best.
It turns out the editors don't always know best. They're actually looking out. They're just trying to make money.
They're not trying to make an interesting, cohesive narrative. They just want that mad cash, yo.
They just want that mad cash because, you know what sells? Not good stories, not good, interesting characters, not well-developed fight scenes or detailed art. Dumb shit sells. Dumb shit sells. That's what it is. And that's always what happens, and it's dumb, but it happens. But in any case, Seven Deadly Sins will be ending in about a year, so if you're a fan of Seven Deadly Sins, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I apologize.
Yeah, so, speaking of, well, not speaking of Seven Deadly Sins, but the people who own Seven Deadly Sins, which is Crunchyroll, because they own the manga, we have news about Crunchyroll.
Tell me more about my lord and savior. I mean, my favorite streaming platform.
It got bought out. It got bought by AT&T.
Right, I heard about that.
Technically, it did. Well, technically, the AT&T announced on Tuesday that it's acquired all of Auto Media, which is the joint venture previously co-owned with another company, the Chernin Group. Auto Media is the digital holding company that operates Crunchyroll's parent company, Ilichan, among other video services. AT&T plans to fold the subscription advertising content company into Warner Media. The new content company created at AT&T's acquisition of Time Warner into June, which means that Crunchyroll is basically going to probably be owned by Warner Brothers in this case. Warner Brothers is going to have control over Crunchyroll. I don't know how to feel about this.
I don't know how to feel either.
We are living in the ages of companies buying out companies and people buying out people and government not doing any stopping them because monopolies are bad and this is not a good thing, but whatnot. But
conglomerates are not the means of the future. Just putting that out there.
Yeah, and because AT&T merged with Time Warner, and then Disney bought Fox. And now we have basically AT&T going after basically buying Auto Media, which means they now have control over Crunchyroll, which they're going to put with Warner Brothers, which means and since Auto Media is going to be folded, that probably means that Crunchyroll is going to be solely under the control of Time Warner, which is how do you? I guess here's the thing. I guess Funimation's owned by Universal now, so I expected something like this to happen at Crunchyroll. But do you think this is going to affect things in any way?
I really hope that it doesn't, because I feel like Crunchyroll, the way they're operating right now, is the best they possibly could. Mm-hmm. So I really hope that once they finally come under control of Warner Bros. In this case, I hope they don't throw a fucking monkey wrench in their operation, because they're operating just fine. They're arguably doing the best they've ever been. So hopefully they don't get too involved with it.
Yeah, apparently this deal has been in the works for a couple of years though. But it was on hold because AT&T wanted to get Time Warner first. So my guess is that AT&T knew what it was like, you know what, we're gonna wait until we get Time Warner so that way we can like combine them. I'm more worried about, because Universal owns Funimation, and Funimation currently has to deal with good stuff with Crunchyroll. And we all know that that the big companies like Universal and Warner Brothers and stuff are not nearly as cooperation friendly as
the big companies aren't as friendly with one another as the smaller companies are. So
yeah, so it could be so.
You think they could cut that deal between them then if they wanted to?
They have the power to. I mean, I don't think they're going to because it just makes them money.
It's lucrative for everyone involved. So why would you bother?
Exactly. Although this is AT&T, so this is and if you know AT&T, they're fucking stupid. Mm-hmm. So I think it's possible that they could do that. I don't know. This is just I'm more worried from a perspective of like, stop buying things. Stop having conglomerates. I don't want to be owned by like I don't want myself to be owned by like a giant fucking corporation.
Little do you know, Matt, that's the future apocalypse, is that fucking... There's like six massive conglomerates that own literally everything on the planet, and then it's just civil war between the different conglomerates, and that's how the apocalypse happens.
That sounds like an anime premise.
I'm gonna make that anime, then. Japan, you know where to find me. Hit me up, bro.
Hit us up. Pay us a lot of money first, though. We need it.
Yeah.
So, alright, so that's happening. In less important news, we have, Shane, have you ever seen the movie Perfect Blue?
I have not seen it, but I have seen bits and pieces of it, and I've heard a lot about it.
Yeah, well, this might be your chance to see it, because G.Kids confirmed on Thursday that it has acquired the theatrical distribution rights to Perfect Blue, and it will be heading back to theaters this year, and will screen in about 500 theaters in collaboration with Fathom Events. Screenings will be held in Japanese with English subtitles, will be held on Thursday, September 6th, and screenings with the English dub will be held on Monday, September 10th. It did not confirm in the press release, though, if it has the home video rights to the film, but it more than likely does. Fandango had already listed the Perfect Blue screening, so this was a rumor that's been going on for a while. And the website allowed visitors to sign up to the G.Kids mailing list. The site, which is designed to look like a late 90s blog based on the main character, now has a link to buy tickets. If you've not, I'm just getting this news out because if anyone has not seen Perfect Blue, this is the best chance to do it. It is one of the best anime films ever made, and it is easily one of the most accessible anime films ever made. I feel like if I'm gonna show someone who has never seen anime before Perfect Blue is going to be one of those things that I do. One of those films I'm going to show. It's extremely accessible to non-fans. It's just a great movie in general. It's super fucked, but it is very, very well done.
It's extremely accessible to everyone. It's a little fucked, but we can look past that.
It's a little fucked. But at the same time, you do not need to be an anime fan to really enjoy it because it does not have a traditional anime art style. It's a little bit more Western. It's a little bit more Western-esque in its storytelling. If you've seen a Darren Aronofsky film, you know that he takes a lot of influence from Satoshi Kon's work because he was friends with Mr. Aronofsky. Mr. Aronofsky and Satoshi Kon were actually friends in real life, so they had a lot of. Both of them really got along well. So in this case. So if you've seen Black Swan, which is Black Swan, you know what to expect from Perfect Blue, because the two films are very, very similar, albeit also very, very different in the same light. So I highly recommend you watch Perfect Blue. I have a feeling we're going to cover it on the podcast at some point.
At some point, it's one of those inevitabilities.
It's one of those inevitabilities. But Perfect Blue is a great, great film. If you've not seen it, do this. I don't know if it's coming to Canada since it's Fathom. Probably not. Yeah, probably. But if it is, I'll definitely probably check it out because I've seen it before. But I want to see it on the big screen. I want to see some fuck shit on the big screen. And I'm very excited.
Is there any word on if it's like a remaster or?
It is it's basically in the original original theatrical release. So it's the best possible version of the movie you can watch.
Okay.
which is good. And I think it's getting a Blu-ray release soon. I think that's probably what it is.
Speaking of Blu-ray re-releases, is that the next piece of news? Because that would be a great segue.
There is a Blu-ray re-release coming. Fullmetal Alchemist is getting a Blu-ray re-release.
Yay!
If you all know, Fullmetal Alchemist got bought out by Funimation lost the rights to Fullmetal Alchemist a while back.
A long time ago.
I think was it like about a year ago? Ish. They lost the rights to Fullmetal Alchemist because this was part of the Aniplex purge.
Yeah.
Where if you know what happened with Aniplex decided we're gonna take all of the stuff you love, and we're just gonna take it, and it will never ever be back again, and come.
We're gonna take everything you love, and we're just gonna keep it all to ourselves because we hate money and we hate you.
I hate you. There will be 2 Blu-ray boxes. The first one will contain episodes 1 to 30, and the second will be 31 to 64. Each one will also include one of the 2 of the 4 OVAs. It will both in sub and dub. So basically, this is going to be a complete re-release of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood on Blu-ray, which is wonderful because this is a show that was available on Blu-ray, and it no longer is, which means I am very, very excited to see. I still don't own it on Blu-ray of Brotherhood, so I'm probably gonna get this version. This version is probably gonna be the one I get. Yeah. Albeit it's probably gonna be super fucking expensive.
Unfortunately, it is still super fucking expensive because they have released the prices too. They're $125 US each.
So they probably come with a bunch of extra shit though.
I don't know, man, but they're $125 American for each set. So you're looking at, if you're looking at like the exchange rate, you're looking at probably around 300, maybe even more for both. So
the both, let's go. All right, but yeah, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is getting the Blu-ray re-release. If you haven't seen Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood,
the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, what are you actually doing?
Like, what is your problem? Get on that shit.
First Miyazaki, now fucking Fullmetal Alchemist. Come on, dude.
Come on, man. You don't have a very good track record going on right now.
Come on. All right, but that's happening. In release date announcement news, we have 2 pieces of shows that have been revealed will be premiering next year. The first one is the highly anticipated and adaptation of Makoto Yukimura's manga Vinland Saga will premiere next year. And it will be aired on television and streamed exclusively on Amazon Prime in both Japan and overseas.
Okay.
It will be animated by Wit Studio.
Ooh.
Who did mainly known for Attack on Titan, Cavalry, H and Magus, Step at the End, all that stuff. No word on the staff yet. Still no word on staff. Still no word on writer and director. But we should be getting that very, very soon. Which is interesting because Vinland Saga is also recently coming back to US, because for the longest time the manga was on hiatus over here in America because they weren't selling it, but it's recently come back probably because of renewed interest. I don't know. Shane, you have know nothing about Vinland Saga.
Nope, I know nothing.
You should read it, and you should definitely watch it when it comes out, because it's one of the best current manga publishing right now, and I'm very happy to
probably most likely watch the anime when that starts airing.
Yeah, Wit Studio, bruh.
If it's fucking Wit, like, okay, that's all you needed to say. I have the utmost faith in this adaptation.
Yeah, it's wit, and I'm very, very excited. I'm very excited to see what they do with Vinland Saga. I never thought this was going to get an anime adaptation, but it does.
Here we are.
Here we are, and it's great. It's about Vikings, so it's basically you seen Berserk, Berserk. It's yes. Berserk with Vikings.
Ooh. That's all you needed to say. That's all you need to say. Like, stop. You've already sold me.
All right. So, also in release date news, One Punch Man is coming. Now the release date for One Punch Man season 2 came with a little bit of controversy. Because Yonko Productions, who is the boy, normally is pretty accurate with these type of things. Revealed that One Punch Man would premiere in some time of spring of 2020. Well, he was very
wrong on this one.
He was very wrong. It confirmed that the new season will premiere next April, in April 2019. That is when season 2 of One Punch Man is coming. Jam Project is returning to do the opening theme, which is yes. And they have also showed a teaser visual of Saitama Genos and the new character Garo. The boy. And they have which means that we're getting. Which means that I don't know how much they're going to cover actually.
Yeah, I'm not sure actually.
But season 2 is happening. I'm very, very excited. I'm very excited for this, just because One Punch Man.
Oh yeah,
is always a good thing.
Yonko was very wrong on that. Those rumors.
Yonko was extremely wrong, and he have profusely apologized.
Yeah. Like, as soon as I saw that, I watched his actual video where he was talking about it, and he's like, they're going to premiere the first episode on August 12th, and then the actual season won't start airing till, winter 2020. Neither of those things ended up happening. So
yeah, so either his sources were wrong, or he misread something.
Because not only did they not premiere the first episode in Japan at a special event, but then Viz officially confirmed April 2019, way sooner than any of us thought.
Yeah, way sooner. And I'm like, okay, all
right. So you're saying I have to wait 8 months in comparison to 16?
Yeah.
Cool.
As long as I get it. That's all that matters.
There was no info on if it's getting simulcasted or when a dub is coming or anything. Literally just it's starting April. So.
Since it's Viz, I don't know when we're gonna get a dub for it.
They might make a deal with Crunchyroll to simulcast it, because they did that with Hunter x Hunter. So
it's possible.
It's possible it might get simulcasted, which I would be all for, because that would be great. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. So, in any case, we have another piece of news that I find is very, very interesting, because it relates to the growing on how the anime industry is evolving. Crowdfunding has become a very controversial topic within the anime industry. Not necessarily over here, but mostly in Japan, because no one knows how to use it correctly. But also because in Japan it's a lot more smaller creators are using it as a way to get their projects funded. Well, anime production AIC, which is an anime studio that has been dormant for the past couple of years, recently launched a crowdfunding campaign to raise funds for a possible pilot film to bring El Hazard back. If funded, the pilot will be for a possible new anime project named El Hazard: The Dual World, which will be the fifth installment in the El Hazard franchise, a franchise that has been dormant since the late 90s. The campaign has not yet launched, but it aims to raise around 5 million yen, which translates to exchanges to around $5 to fund production for the pilot. The project already has a big committee to fund the project partially if the campaign is successful, and it plans to prove the viability of funding a full anime project. If the project, and if the company believes it is viable, then we will more than likely get another El Hazard anime. However, this is current. That is not a guarantee. I find this interesting only because because El Hazard is one of those series that has been dead for so long.
I've never even fucking heard of it. So.
Yeah. It's to give a brief, because I've seen a bit of the original series, but that's pretty much it. The best I can describe it is that it's kind of like it's very much inspired by Nausicaa. It's very, very like it's like set in this like this like fantasy world where like that's being attacked by these massive bugs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of and it's about the main character is someone who's been transported to this other world, and he basically he ends up becoming like the savior of that world. Something similar to like a lot of it's an early example of isekai in a way.
I was gonna say that sounds once you said another world, it's like, oh, there's a fucking isekai.
Yeah, it's an example of early isekai, but like it's an example of like isekai, but it came out like it came out like 91, so like it was before isekai as we know it was really a thing, and it's very different from other isekai. If anything, it's more similar to stuff like it's similar to more stuff like Escaflowne and Narnia and stuff like that.
I keep forgetting that Escaflowne is an older series.
Yeah, Escaflowne. Yeah, it is. Yeah, Escaflowne is technically an isekai, if you really think about it. You know what also is technically an isekai? Inuyasha.
Yeah, it is, actually.
Inuyasha is technically an isekai, which I find very funny. But El Hazard is not an isekai, like, in the traditional sense. It's more of a traditional, like, fantasy action-adventure type romance, like romance-style series. You know, the good shit. It's the good shit.
Mm-hmm.
El Hazard is definitely a show I want to watch. I've been meaning to watch for years. Also, fun fact about El Hazard. The El Hazard dub is so well regarded in Japan that they just don't release the sub version anywhere, the Japanese version there anymore.
That's interesting.
In Japan, it's so well regarded. The El Hazard dub is so well regarded in Japan that over there they've openly stated, yeah, the dub just blows us out of the water. The dub is the official version now. And
you never see that kind of shit.
You never see that. Even with stuff like Bebop, where the creators from the Japanese version have openly said they really like the dub and that it's like, yeah, this dub is really good. They still release only the Japanese version in Japan. We never see something like that ever happen in Japan.
We never see the Japanese creators outright disregard their own version of their own product for the Western release. That's like really interesting, actually.
Yeah, and it's interesting because El Hazard's dub came out in like 95, 96.
It's one of like the early dubs.
It's one of the early dubs, and from what I understand, I've seen a bit of it. I can see why it's so well regarded because it definitely paved the way it's dubbed. Definitely paved the way for dubs today.
But here's the thing, Matt. Can it stand up to the classic that is Samurai Pizza Cats?
Obviously, yeah. Obviously not. Like, obviously not. Samurai Pizza Cats is a masterpiece of dubbing.
You know what? One of these days, I'm just gonna be like, okay, it's my turn to pick the featured anime. You guys ready for some pizza?
And then I'm gonna leave the podcast entirely.
He's gonna quit his own podcast. Well, I guess I just run the show now.
And then, this is your show now. No, but El Hazard's I honestly have you know, what's funny is that honestly, I'm personally tempted to like fucking cover El Hazard before the end of the year. Like I'm really tempted to because it's one of those shows. It's the show. I think it's like that and a couple of other shows. This show has been on my watch list for fucking 6 or 7 years. Like it's been on there ever since I started watching anime because I got recommended it. Because I was like, oh, I'm a big fan of, because I mentioned I was a big fan of Escaflowne, and someone's like, watch fucking El Hazard, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch it, and I just never
Oh, there's not that many episodes either.
Yeah, it's not too long. The problem is that it's a big series, so there's a lot of installments in the series.
Yeah.
Like the original is only like 7 episodes, but it got like a sequel series that had like they got like 26 episodes.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It started off as an OVA series that had 7 episodes, and then it got a full series follow-up that had 26, and then that got a second season, which had 12 episodes, and then there was another OVA that had 4 episodes after that.
Yeah.
So,
from what I understand, the 26-episode series is an amplified version of the original OVA, but stretched to 26 episodes. That sounds like garbage, actually. But whatever, I'm gonna watch it anyways, cause...
fuck it.
But I'm very interested. I'm definitely gonna check it out. Our final piece of news for the week is not necessarily happy news, but I think we should mention it nevertheless. The voice actor Unso Isazaka passed away yesterday, as we're recording this. Yeah, the reason why I mention him is because he is a absolute fucking legend in the anime industry. He is the Japanese voice for Joseph Joestar from Stardust Crusaders and Diamonds Unbreakable.
Old man Joseph.
Yeah, he's Mr. Satan from Dragon Ball Super. He's Professor Oak and the narrator from Pokemon. He's Jet Black from Cowboy Bebop. He's Zabuza from Naruto.
Ooh.
He's Kizaru from One Piece. He's in tons and tons of different stuff. He's Mishima from Tekken. He was in Gundam. He was in One Punch Man. He is so many different people. And so when you go through this guy's like what he's voiced in, his filmography, it's absolutely ridiculous on what he's actually been in. Like he's Hohenheim from Brotherhood.
Oh fuck. Okay.
Yeah, he's Hohenheim from Brotherhood. He's Patrick from BBB. And currently he's actually in a lot of currently airing shows. And the big one that he's actually in right now is Banana Fish. He's the voice of Dino. He's the voice of Dino Goldzine. Which
Papa Dean. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm curious to see how that's going to affect the show going forward.
Yeah.
He'll probably get recast.
He will definitely get recast because you can't just cut Papa Dino out of Banana Fish.
Yeah, you can. He's the big bad son.
He's the main antagonist. You can't just get rid of him. So.
Yeah. And it's based on a manga that's very well. So if you change anything, you're going to get
people will bitch.
Yeah, people will bitch. So, but we lost a legend, and we just need to. But we lost a legend, and I just want to thank Mr. Isazaka for giving us really, really great characters over the years because goddamn, he has voiced so many characters. It's actually ridiculous.
Yeah, I was not aware that he had voiced so many iconic characters that I actually know and have grown attached to over the years. So
yeah. I don't know why that he's the voice of Professor Oak hit me more than anything else. Like he's the Japanese voice for Oak. I think that's fuck like that. Yeah. But in any case, let's move on from sadness to more sadness with the sales data.
Oh boy, everything underperformed. Japan is in crisis.
Everything underperformed. To be fair, this week was kind of dead for new releases. Okay. Because not too much sold. The only big deal for this week for sales was that Legend of the Galactic Heroes jumped up from the previous volume. So Legend of the Galactic Heroes is doing quite well, actually. So that's a good thing.
Good. I'm glad.
It's a good thing. So, did you ever finish it?
Oh yeah, I finished it.
What'd you think of it?
I enjoyed my time with it. Like, I'm not usually a fan of the slower, more politically driven shows with a lot of talky. But for some reason with Legend of Galactic Heroes, I found myself really endeared to the characters, even though I didn't always know who was who. I still knew I didn't know them by name, but I know who they were, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
But yeah, I just felt myself really endeared to these characters and the struggles that they were going through. So, and also the space battle stuff was really well done, like really well animated, choreographed, and the dialogue and the voice acting were all really great. So I enjoyed my time with it. I'd probably give it a solid 8 out of 10. So there you go.
Yeah, I need to. Yeah, I definitely need to watch it because I'm gonna eat it up. So that's why I need to.
The new series is getting a second season next year. So
yeah, it's getting movies. I think
it's getting movies in Japan. They're gonna make it into a season over here.
All right, that makes sense. All right, so they're doing what they did with Digimon Tri. All right, so but other than that, not too much in terms of what came out. The next couple of weeks are going to be kind of dead for like new releases because a lot of the new series of so basically it's just going to be a continuation of like series that have already aired coming out. So like so basically we're gonna have to wait a bit to see how this season fares or how later installments fare. I'm mostly curious to see on how. I'm more curious to see how a couple of other how shows from this season fare. More specifically, I'm very curious to see how Revue Starlight fares, to be honest. But other than that, it's been pretty dead. And with that, I believe it's time we move on to our featured anime.
Oh,
yeah, Shane is very excited.
I'm so excited. I'm so ready to get in there. Deep discussion.
All right, so our featured anime of the week is a comedy ecchi parody school shonen series known as Ebiten, directed by Hideki Otomoto, written by Yuko Kakihara. It's from Studio AIC Classic. It aired for 10 episodes online from July 14th, 2012 to September 15th, 2012, and it's currently licensed by Sentai Filmworks, and you can watch it in the link below on HIDIVE exclusively. It is exclusive to HIDIVE in only sub, I think, or is it dub? Is there a dub on HIDIVE? Can Shane confirm that?
It is available on HIDIVE.
On HIDIVE?
It's available on HIDIVE and Crunchyroll. No dub. They only have sub, but it is available on both Crunchyroll and HIDIVE.
Yeah, I do believe if you want to watch the dub, you have to buy the Blu-ray of it. I do believe so.
Which you'll see by the end of this why you really shouldn't.
Yeah, you really should. But if you really want to, the dub is available on Blu-ray on Sentai Filmworks, and you can watch the show on HIDIVE and Crunchyroll in the links below if you so desire. Ebiten, I don't know what it's about, to be completely honest.
You know what? Just go with it. That's the plot synopsis.
I don't know. I don't know what's about, to be completely honest. The best I can describe it is that it's about the wacky antics of the astronomy club
with two S's.
With two S's
for comedic effect.
Yeah, because the ass. And it's the wacky antics. Sometimes they're doing legitimate astronomy things. Sometimes they're just fucking around.
Sometimes they're horribly molesting other members.
But one of them is actually enjoying it, so I don't know if it's consensual.
I don't think it's consensual. I think it's I think it's ironically consensual, where she doesn't want it, but at the same time she's enjoying it.
It's very vague.
It's weird.
It's very vague, but it didn't bother me as much as Nakaimo.
I don't know if there's actual penetration, because there could be.
Possibly, I don't know. This show is. I don't know what this show is.
What the fuck is this show?
This is gonna be a hard show for us to talk about, because I think this is the first show on the podcast that we really don't have anything to talk about.
I really have nothing of merit to say about this show.
This is going to be a hard show to talk about, because I really think that because unlike at least every other show we talked about, we have at least something to be like, okay, yeah, we got this to talk about. I got nothing for Ebiten.
I got jack shit.
Like
So-
this is the most nothing show we've ever covered.
Yeah, so during this discussion, I'm going to be eating some Takis. I hope you don't mind. Because I really got nothing to contribute to this conversation.
He has absolutely nothing. This is going to be an interesting one, because there's going to be an interesting one. But we're going to try to talk about it anyways, because we hate ourselves. All right.
I hate myself a lot.
All right, Shane. Actually, I'm going to have a question to ask you, because I think this is going to be an interesting. I guess it's going to be kind of going to actually lead into something. Shane, was this as bad as you were expecting it to be initially from the end of last podcast?
No. But again, I'm not entirely sure on that. Because you're right. At the end of the previous podcast, when we got this on the randomizer, I was expecting it to be utter garbage. I was trying my hardest to keep an open mind and just go in, just not trying to put it down and just giving it an honest and fair chance.
And then Spencer saw the first episode and Shane freaked out.
And Spencer, the dickbag that he is, watched the first episode and said, "This is literally one of the worst things I have ever seen and you will hate it." And I'm like, that makes me excited to watch this. And so I watched the first episode with that knowledge in my mind, and I came out literally feeling zero emotions whatsoever. I did not feel offended. I did not feel like I got enjoyment out of it. I did not feel like I wasted my time, per se. I literally felt nothing. Like, I watched the first episode, and by the end of it, I was like, well, that was a thing that happened.
Yeah.
That's literally my opinion on the show as a whole. This show is a thing that happened, and I don't know why it did. Because, because nothing about this show merits its existence. Like...
It really doesn't.
No. Like... And honestly, by the end of it, there were a few good moments that I enjoyed, and there were a few moments that I really did not enjoy, but the rest of it, I was literally straight down the middle. Like, I have no strong emotions on the show whatsoever.
Same, pretty much. Like, my biggest, like, the most emotion I could muster up was like, oh, that's kind of funny, and then that's pretty it.
Haha, that was kind of funny. That actually got me. And then, oh, that's really gross. You need to stop doing that, please. And then the rest of it was just flatline, like, boo!
Like, this show killed me. This show
just stopped my heart.
Boom. Show Sane, out of all the episodes that you watched, which one was the least boring one that you watched?
That's the thing. We can't really say favorite episode. It's just, which episode did you hate the least?
or find the least boring in this case.
Yeah, that's the thing about the show. It's not terrible. It's not good. Don't take that out of context.
It's definitely not good.
This show is not good. But it's not terrible at the same time. It's just kind of boring and unnecessary. In terms of the episode I found the least boring, if you know anything about me, you know exactly what I'm going to say.
Yeah, it's that Dragon Ball parody.
It's episode 9, the Dragon Ball parody, which we'll get into the parodies later because that's a big contention to talk about. But I'm actually gonna look it up because I want to get the title of this episode right because it's so fucking Dragon Ball and I love it. Okay, here we go. Episode 9, The Astronomical Club's Great Victory. Race tomorrow. Ready? Go. That is like old school Japanese Dragon Ball episode title.
Yeah, it's funny to me because I was gonna pick another episode. But one thing that I did like about that one in particular actually was that that for as pointless as the Dragon Ball stuff is, and it is, they got it pretty down pat.
Yeah, like, they kind of nailed the Dragon Ball parody here.
Yeah, they kind of nailed it, and like there's some stuff in it that's legitimately funny.
Yeah.
Everything with reviving people, as with the Dragon Balls, is really funny. By the way, like that stuff is genuinely funny. And I like how I do kind of like on how like in the how they go out of the way to make sure the entire episode sounds like a Dragon Ball episode too. Like it sounds like one. So like the one when they do parody something on this show, they go all in. For the most part, when it comes to parodying something, they go all the fuck in. Well, most of the time. Sometimes it's kind of half-assed, but like with Dragon Ball in particular, out of their way to be like, no, when someone like gets punched, it sounds like a Dragon Ball punch.
Yeah.
Because Dragon Ball is a very distinctive, sound.
It's got those whooshy sounds like.
Yeah,
they're like zipping around everywhere, and yeah. The main reason why I picked this episode as the one I found the least boring is because of the Dragon Ball shit, and it really goes to show like the inconsistency of the show in general, because when it really wants to have a good parody, it has a good parody, and this is the prime example of that, because everything that's happening in this episode with the actual characters is really fucking stupid. I could care less about it.
Yeah, but I think the show knows it's dumb.
Yeah.
So
but like
to the show's credit, I think the show knows it's dumb.
Yeah, they got to. I don't think anyone who worked on the show can admit that the show is good.
Yeah, I think they know it's dumb, so they just do it. So they're kind of like, okay, story's dumb, but it's literally just an afterthought to make sure this parody works, kind of.
So when you have stupid bullshit that I could care less about that's actually happening in this episode, but the fact that they base it around things that actually happen in Dragon Ball, like the student council president taking the hit for the vice president, like Piccolo sacrificing himself for Gohan, or fucking Noya knocking out the student council president, and they're pretending like she's fucking dead.
Yeah,
and that's what makes Toriyama go Super Saiyan's like, we can't revive her with the Dragon Balls! Ah! And it's like, it's stupid it's... The actual events that are happening are dumb as shit, and I could care less. But the fact that it's got this Dragon Ball coat of paint where I know every single one of the references that they're making, and I feel like it all works in the context of the actual show. Like, there you go. You've done something that not only has my interest, but you've also done a parody that actually works and doesn't feel like it was shoehorned in for no reason. So
it feels genuinely funny.
Yeah.
So like, my favorite is actually the episode after this, episode 10 of Beautiful Dreamers, which is a reference to Yurusei Yatsura, which is the parody of this particular episode. Shane has not seen Yurusei Yatsura, so unlike me. And I can safely say that it's the best parody here because I have never seen a more accurate representation of Yurusei Yatsura, because the way Yurusei Yatsura is one of the earliest works from director Mamoru Oshii, who's directed Angel's Egg, Ghost in the Shell, that stuff.
Yeah, boy.
And he worked on Yurusei Yatsura. And Beautiful Dreamers is the name of the film that he did, and it's generally regarded not just as one of the best, not just the best Yurusei Yatsura film, but possibly one of the best anime adaptations of all time. So, in terms of like from a TV show to movie, like just generally regarded as something of a masterpiece, and the way the episode is edited, and the way the episode goes from flashback to like main day back to flashback, like in almost like a non-linear format. Just the random imagery that sometimes pops up, and the weird and the surreal dream sequences. Like it's totally out of Yurusei. It's totally out of Yurusei, and one thing I kind of really appreciated about kind of like the last 2 episodes in particular, because I think the last 2 episodes do it the best out of all of them, is that they actually try to use the parody as a way to move the story forward. They don't just have it there.
Yeah. Because, like, a huge problem with this show is that most of the parodies feel really out of place. Like, oh, we're doing something that involves the club, and, you know, we gotta deal with the situation. Oh, we're Sailor Moon now. Haha, that's funny, right?
That's funny, right? Because she likes Dojin.
And she likes Dojin, she's a cosplayer. Now she's Sailor Moon. Get it?
You've seen Sailor Moon, right? Have you?
I actually unironically really enjoyed the Sailor Moon parody, though. I felt like that was one of the better ones.
No, okay, yeah, the Sailor Moon parody was kind of funny. Okay, the way they parodied the fucking... Okay, if you've seen Sailor Moon and know the ending of Season 1, then you know that, spoiler alert for a 20-year-old show, everyone dies at the end of Season 1 of Sailor Moon. Basically, the Sailor Scouts are fighting the main villain, and they all get fucking shanked, pretty much, except Usagi. And basically that's literally what happens in this episode. The main fucking Kyoko, the main girl of the show, basically shoots all of them with the candy she likes. Just shoots all of them, and all of them are dead.
Yep, they're canonically dead now.
No, they're all canonically dead, and the way they die too is like in the exact positions that the Sailor Scouts died in too. So I'm like, I can't. You know, actually, you know what I think about it? The fact that they did that, but they never parodied Yamcha's death on them. No,
they didn't actually. They could have easily done that though.
That would have been an instant laugh for me. That would have been genuinely funny. Like that would have been. Instead, but the Sailor Scout with the Sailor Moon pair was actually pretty fun. But a lot of it did feel kind of forced. The Fist of the North Star one was particularly annoying. Oh
yeah. That was like they had the, like you said, they had the perfect situation to really go all in with the North Star parody. Yeah, but they don't.
Yeah. Yeah, because, like, the whole thing about Fist of the North Star is that it's 2 brothers. It's basically a feuding war between 2 brothers. At this point in the show, the main conflict between the 2 sisters, and so obviously you have it right there. It's sitting right there. You have it. It's right there, and yet it's not good. They don't do it correctly, and it's like, oh, okay. So it seems like they just picked Fist of the North Star at random, and they just didn't. It's like no one on the creative team has actually seen Fist of the North Star.
Yeah, it feels like they just did it for one scene, and then they never brought it up again.
Yeah, pretty much. Unlike the Sailor Moon one and the Dragon Ball one, which take up a large chunk of those episodes.
It's pretty much majority of those episodes.
And those are the best ones. Like those. Like UFC Absurda, Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon. The ones that take up the majority of the episodes, those are the best episodes because they actually go all in on the stupid, and they know they're stupid, but they have fun with it. And they don't take themselves too seriously. If the entire show was like that, I probably would a lot more.
Yeah.
This would have been a far better show. All right, let's get Shade. Let's get past episodes. Let's get into some more specifics. Let's get into characters. Shane.
Oh boy, in the show with an incredible, likable, and distinctive cast of characters that I will remember for the rest of my life. Let's talk about this, Matt.
Which character annoyed you the least? Because most of the characters annoyed me in this.
Okay. So. I'm just gonna put a disclaimer right here. So I don't remember like 80% of their names. so I'm gonna try my best. Ironically, who I assume your least favorite character was my favorite character when I first started.
Who's your favorite?
Guess who it is?
I know I can't. It's
originally my favorite character was Kanamori.
Yeah, I thought Kanamori was got less than. So I think she's not my favorite, though.
No, originally she was my favorite just because I liked her design, and even though she turned out to be a kind of a perv, I liked her at the beginning because you feel bad for her because Toriyama is just fucking basically raping her, and you're like, stop doing that, please. She was originally my favorite. Clearly that's not the case now. Because by the end of it, my favorite character was easily, and I can't remember her name for the fucking life of me, but my favorite character is the vice president.
Oh,
purple hair girl.
Purple hair. I'm looking up her name right now.
Purple hair girl.
Her
because
name too.
This is very much a Nakaimo situation here, where the most grounded character...
Yeah, Hasumi.
Yeah, Hasumi. This is very much a Nakaimo situation, because the character here that's most grounded in reality is easily the best one. Because Hasumi, the vice president, is not only adorable as fuck, super kind to everyone, including the assholes, but she doesn't put up with anyone's shit.
Yeah.
Like, she
actively... My favorite too.
Yeah, she actively does not put up with anyone's shit, and because of that, she's grown a reputation for being kind of a hard ass at times. Like, everyone's afraid of her, because they're like, oh man, the vice president won't like you doing that. You know what happens when she doesn't like something, and everyone's like, yeah.
Yeah, and I like, to me, that's funny. That stuff actually funny. Like, that's genuinely funny.
Yeah.
And she gets one of the better episodes. Like, I think one of the better standalone episodes, which is with Yuka. I think that's one of the better. Whenever this show decides to slow down and actually have some emotional sincerity for once, it's actually not bad. Like, there's some genuine stuff there. It's just compounded by bullshit, and it's annoying.
It's just like this potential gold mine of a show bookended between two piles of shit.
It literally is. It really is. There's good stuff in here. There's a good show in here somewhere. I know it's there because I've seen it. It's in a couple of moments, but it's surrounded by garbage. So Shane, who's your least favorite? Who's the character who annoyed the fuck out of you the most?
Okay.
I think I know who it is.
I'm trying to think, because there's two potential candidates, and I can't remember the second one, and that's a problem.
Uh-oh.
Because I had two potential candidates, and now I literally... Oh, wait, no, I remember now. Okay. I'm not gonna pick one over the other, because I hate them both equally. My least favorite character is a tie between Koyoko Toriyama and, Umori Sensei, the human. Not the cat, the human.
Oh, the teacher.
The fucking stalker teacher.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie, I think the idea of that is pretty funny, but the way they executed it was not funny.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna explain. Toriyama is one of my least favorite characters because she's just a bitch. She's just a cunt for no reason. Like, they try to explain it in her backstory, where it's like, oh, she used to be like a really intelligent, sensible young woman who really liked astronomy, and she was like working towards her life goals, and then she just went fucking crazy for some reason, and now she's just like literally a cartoon character that has no stance in reality, and has like no regard for anyone else. Like, she literally treats everyone else in the club like they're fucking paperweights. Like, just pushing them around and only, like, really caring about them if it satisfies her needs.
Yeah, that's like, Toriyama. Toriyama is my least favorite because she's a less likable and interesting Haruhi.
Yeah.
And she's basically she's like, oh, yeah, you don't like Haruhi? Well, you must like this part of Haruhi. And it's like, no, we don't. And the show, that's not what Haruhi is. What?
Yeah.
And that annoys me whenever it's such a blatant attempt to fucking cash in on that type of character. So blatant.
Yeah. She's just a dick for like no justifiable reason whatsoever. To the point where she literally treats Kanamori as basically her fucking sex slave. Like, it's pretty explicit sometimes, where it's like, she has, like I said, she has no roots in reality. She's off in her own, like, fucking fantasy world. And she literally treats everyone else like piles of trash. She has no sympathy or compassion for anyone else besides herself. Case in point, prime example, Kanamori, the poor girl, gets horribly molested every chance she fucking gets because of her. And it's like, just stop. Just back up. Just think about what you're doing. Stop it. No one benefits from this. Just stop it. And then my other pick for my least favorite character is Omori Sensei, the human, because she's just gross. She's just really gross. Like, just,
yeah.
It's another one of those instances, much like Toriyama. It's just like, step back, think about what you're doing, and just stop it. Clearly, he's not into you. Stop stalking him. Stop going through his garbage. Stop feeding him lunch through his mail slot. Just stop. Please. That's all I've got. Just stop it. So
Yeah,
who's
like,
your least favorite character, Matt?
It's Toriyama, like I mentioned. Like,
right.
She's basically, like, I hate the fact that she's like she's just she's that type of character done poor. Like, they need to rewatch Haruhi Suzumiya to see how they are supposed to be done correctly.
She's just a blatant Haruhi clone without any of the aspects that made Haruhi an endearing character.
Yeah.
All the characters in the show kind of suck, to be fair.
They do. This is the the cast in this, they're not awful, but the problem is that they're so bland. It's just a bland cast.
Fucking bland. Like, I honestly I'm literally gonna forget about all of them, like, immediately. As soon as we're done recording this.
Yeah, like, the only reason I'm remembering is because I finished the show yesterday, and I also wanted, and I also for this podcast.
I'm surprised I'm remembering as much as I am, to be honest, because everything about this show is so forgettable.
It's so forgettable. Let's talk about the show in more detail, like why it sucks in more detail. All right. Oh, why it's so boring. The parody, we've mentioned the parodies aren't very good. But let's talk about how fucking inconsistent the humor is in this show, because I don't know what type of show this is trying to be, like what type of humor.
Yeah, like what kind of identity are they trying to go for? Because fuck if I know. Like the show's classified as an ecchi technically, and it's got ecchi humor. It's got ecchi in it. It does.
It does, but not a lot. If that makes any sense.
They basically just have one character dedicated to being the ecchi. Yeah.
To be the ecchi. And it's mostly, like, near the end and in the beginning. Like, there's a middle section of the show where there's, like, none. Like, at all. And so I was like, okay, so I don't know if it wants to be an ecchi, but then it wants to be a parody show at the same time. And then at times it wants to be almost like a more surreal comedy, if that makes any, like a more surreal comedy.
But then on top of that, they also want to have these dramatic character moments that make you want to care about the people involved here. And I'm like, no, because you haven't done anything with them to make me really care all that much. So
the show's a fucking tonal mess.
Yep.
It's a tonal mess.
It's all over the fucking place.
It's a tonal mess. The one good thing about the show, the one consistently good thing though, is the animation's pretty good.
Yeah, the animation's pretty decent.
Animation's pretty good. Character designs annoy the fuck out of me though. And I had mentioned this to Shane.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit before we started recording.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the eyes. I don't know if it's the designs as a whole, but something about them doesn't do anything something about them doesn't feel right to me, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't get it either, because I'm right there with you. It's just like they're fine, design wise, but there's just something off, and I can't quite place it.
yeah, like it. I don't know. It might be the eyes, like you mentioned, and I don't know. Something about the designs isn't right. Anything else you want to mention?
In terms of good, not really.
I mean, in bad. You can mention bad stuff too.
Oh,
you know, so.
This is probably, and I don't think I'm over exaggerating this because it's pretty much how I feel. It's pretty much how I felt by the end of this. This is probably one of the most boring, uneventful, and completely unnecessary shows I've ever seen. Like, by the end of my viewing of this show, literally the first thing I said was, why does this exist? What purpose does this show have to exist? How can it justify that? And I'm still, right now, as we're recording this, I'm still coming up blank. Because I really honestly cannot figure out why the show was made. Because, like I said, it's not absolutely terrible, but there's really nothing good about it that makes it stand out. It's just a bland, generic, boring slog. And by the end of it, I was just like, can it please end now? Like,
the best part of the series. The best part of the series was the end credits of the final episode.
Because I'm like, thank God it's finally over.
Because we're done. Never have to touch this again.
I don't have to waste more time on this, and that's pretty much what the show is. It's a waste of time. I enjoyed
watching Nakaimo more than this because at least Nakaimo was funny at it.
Okay, I will say that this is absolutely a better show than Nakaimo. Yeah. But Nakaimo had more to talk about.
Nakaimo had more to talk about because from a writing perspective, Ebiten's not exactly horrible. Like it's still consistent. It's like it's only inconsistent tonally. Writing wise, it's pretty consistent. So it's
the same level of eh.
Yeah, it's same level. Nakaimo, from a writing perspective, from like a storytelling perspective, is such a fucking mess that I was enthralled by what I was watching.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, there was no way something like this actually exists.
And also, that's the thing. I've always said, and I'm sure you agree, that in a lot of situations, a boring show is actually worse than a show that's just outright bad. Because with a show that's just bad, at least you can get some enjoyment out of it because you can make fun of it and there's actually stuff to talk about. Here, it's just a blank slate. Like, honestly, if this show never existed, like, nothing would change for me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, fucking, like, I watched, I watched Citrus, and I'm still planning on finishing it, by the way. And, like, at least that show, for as garbage as it is, it's so funny. So, like, that's why I want to finish it, because I'm enjoying it for how bad it is. This bored me to fucking tears.
This is just boring, uneventful. It got literally zero reaction out of me, like, 90% of the time. Like I said, like, I had watched the first episode, and by the end of it, I was like, well, that was a thing. I literally had zero emotion. Nothing. And that's a bad sign. It, like, if something, like, literally elicits zero emotion out of you, there's really no going back from there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's... Let's go final scores. I'm done.
Yeah, I think we pretty much talked about everything we can here.
Yeah, so final scores for you, Shane.
Okay. Like I said, this is not utterly terrible. There are definitely worse shows out there. And this is definitely not the worst thing I've ever seen. That still goes to Nakaimo. That will, until something that's worse comes around, that will always hold the crown for absolute shit. However, I feel like I got more enjoyment out of Nakaimo than this. Because while Nakaimo is a fucking dumpster fire, it's still leaps and bounds more interesting than this dull-ass shit. Like, I still have more to talk about Nakaimo than this, and that's a problem.
No, the fact is, whenever Shane will wake up one day and be like, you know what, there's something new about Nakaimo I fucking hate.
when I'm like 60 years old, I'm gonna wake up on my hospital bed and be like, Nakamo did that too. God damn it. No. So I'm not gonna say the show is worse than Nakamo because it's not. It's infinitely better. But Nakamo's more
infinitely more boring.
Yes, it's infinitely more boring than Nakamo. At least with how shit Nakamo was, it gave me something to talk about. I got nothing here. Across all 10 episodes, except maybe episode 9. Because I actually kind of enjoyed that one, just because I got all the references they were making. I got like zero reaction out of me. I didn't react to any of the characters. I didn't react to any of the situations that were going on. When it was trying to be more serious and dramatic, I still got no emotion because it gave me no reason to really care up until that point. Literally, this show is the definition of meh. Like, if you look up the word meh in the dictionary, there should be a fucking picture of Ebiten right there. Because that's what this show is. It is completely, painfully, boringly average, right down the middle. And honestly, even though I'm not going to say that it's worse than Nakamo because it's not, objectively it's a better show, it is infinitely less interesting. So, for that, I'm just going to, much like the show is straight down the middle, I'm going to go straight down the middle and I'm going to give it a 5. And the only reason I'm going to give it a 5 is because, yes, objectively, this is not the worst show I have ever seen. But subjectively, there are shows that are much worse than this that I got more out of. And that's an issue.
This show is so boring.
It's so painfully boring. And I can't get over that. So I'm going to give it
comedy that is boring is so fucking painful to sit through. Yeah. Like, it's so painful.
It's honestly sometimes worse than just a flat-out bad show. Because a bad show is always more interesting because you can make fun of it. This is just by the books, standard, average, fare. And for that, I'm going to give it a 5, because it's not a terrible show by any means, but it's not good either. It's literally right down the middle.
I'm going to give it a 5, too. That's going to be because it's how boring and painfully average it is. It's going to get a 5. Usually, because to me, that, like, this, why did we get this?
We know exactly why we got this, Matt. You know
this was our fault. This was our fault. This was our fault. We played too close to the sun.
We should have just stuck with Padma, but no, we had to bring it to a coin flip.
But we did this. This was boring as hell. I think the thumbnail sums it up.
Yep. The thumbnail basically sums up our feelings on the show to a T. Just facepalm. Why does this exist?
Who knew that the show itself could agree with us?
Yeah, who know? In the fucking opening, they knew. They had to have known.
They knew what show they were making, and they did not like it at all. I'm pretty sure that the animators were held hostage during the making of this anime.
This is like a Period Black Clover situation where they're basically being held captive to make it.
Basically being held captive. Help! We want to make a good show, but we can't.
We've got some serious talent here. Why can't you make us make a good show?
When you fucking please help.
Help.
When you don't get the funding you need, so you make Black Clover.
Help.
I'm still mad at the way that show turned out. By the way, I'm still mad.
By the way, it's still not good.
I haven't watched. I'm gonna binge the second half of it.
Just so you know, there's an episode. It's a recent episode of Black Clover. It's a beach episode, and the entire episode...
is that the beach episode?
Yeah.
That shit was good in the manga, so...
Well, the entire episode is literally just Noelle flaunting her tits to get Asta to notice her.
That was one chapter of the manga.
That's the entire episode.
That's why I hate it when they do that. I hate it when they do it.
We're not talking about Black Clover, Matt.
Yeah, I'm just saying I hate it when that fact that they do that is that they take one episode, like one chapter, and they stretch it out over the course of an episode.
This show was a manga, wasn't it?
Because the beach shit in the manga was great. I don't know what the fuck happened. It angers me.
All right. I think it's time to wrap things up.
Yeah, it's time to wrap things up. I don't fucking Shane, just read it. Just fucking read it, dude. Just fucking read it. It is like, just read it. Like, don't even bother with the animated version, anime version of it.
Don't worry, bro. I know if I ever get into Black Clover, I am sticking strictly to the manga.
Cause the manga's great. Like, the manga, I will argue the manga's actually, like, it's reaching genuinely greatness. Like, it's genuinely great now. And I really hope that you start reading it. So, like, but in any case, we're wrapping up.
You know what, Matt? I think we've come full circle. Much like Ebiten, this podcast has become unfocused and painfully average.
Stop. You're insulting my podcast. How dare you?
I'm just throwing my own show under the bus. Let's fucking wrap things up.
Let's wrap this up with our next feature game. It is Shane's choice this week. For those new to the podcast, we rotate who's going to pick the choices between me and Shane, and every other week we also do a randomizer. Ebiten was randomizer, and thus it's Shane, what show do you have?
Okay, so it's my turn to pick again, bitches. Yeah. So for my pick this time, this is a show that I've had my eye on for quite some time. I've really wanted to watch this show, and this podcast has given me the perfect outlet to do so. So, next time on the G.A.P, my pick for our featured anime is the 2016 show Flip Flappers.
Yes, because I've been wanting to cover this one for a while.
Because Flip Flappers is something that has like fascinated me ever since I found out about it, and I have wanted to watch it for the longest time. And now I finally have the chance to do so because for my pick, we're covering Flip Flappers next time.
Covering Flip Flappers. For those who want to watch it, it is also on HIDIVE. It is available to watch in both dub and sub. And you can, and it is also, it's only 12 episodes, so it's not too long, and it's complete. So if you want to watch it, you just go ahead and watch that. It's literally solid. It's nothing too long.
And from what I've seen of the show, it looks freaking amazing. So,
it's great. So definitely, Flip Flappers will be our next featured anime, and that will be in 2 weeks. And with that, I think it's time to wrap up.
Yep.
My name is Matt, aka I'm the host of this wonderful podcast known as The G.A.P. You can find me on Twitter, where I'm doing a 100 movies challenge. I'm doing over the course of that next half of the year, I'm going to be watching 100 different movies. Whether I've seen them or not is not important. But you can follow me as I go through my journey of watching movies and sounding pretentious as fuck. So if you want to listen to that, which you probably don't, but whatever, go follow me on Twitter. And this is my co-host Shane, aka the Bearded One. You can also find him on Twitter, where he tweets about games and Mega Man and anime and other stuff. And
lots of different bullshit.
Lots of different bullshit. You can also find him at the Bearded Gaming Network, where you find our other podcast, The Bearded Banter, as well as Let's Plays, unboxings, and a bunch of other good stuff that he has planned in the near future. So basically, subscribe to his channel for that stuff. And I think pretty much done here. So
yeah, I think we are too.
I want to wish everyone a good week, a good weekend, or a good. And if it's and I'm gonna steal from Caddy for this. If it's your birthday, happy freaking birthday to you.
Wow.
And I just blatantly stole from Caddy.
You blatantly stole from Kid Icarus.
I blatantly stole. I am going to pay Kid Icarus my.
Dude, your career's over. You just plagiarized.
I plagiarized. I did that. I pulled an IGN.
Shit.
Relevant. I totally planned this. Relevant as a relevant commentary.
Yes,
I did. So and with that, I am gonna wish everyone a good week, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time for Flip Flappers, everyone. Thank you for listening to The G.A.P. If you like what you've seen, you can subscribe to the G.A.P. Podcast YouTube channel to get the latest podcasts as they go live. Be sure to like and comment and let us know what you guys think of the show. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.